everybody, welcome to Essential Life of Ours. Today I am going to be doing some bread and butter pickles with the Mrs.Wages mix. This is simple and easy, gets it done quick so that I don't have a lot of time running around the kitchen doing everything that's necessary. It's one of those easy recipes, so let's get going. And if you see a random person, it's probably my mom, so just don't worry about that, but she is here to help us today. As I am going ahead and getting everything ready on my KitchenAid mixer, as you will see, I'm taking everything out and putting it in, making sure that everything is nice and tight. As you can tell, I did have a problem in the video as I did not secure it properly. Went ahead and got all of our cucumbers and we're putting them in here, and then we're going to go through and we're going to wash each one off. And as we're washing them off, we're going to figure out what are the good parts of the cucumber and what are the parts of the cucumber that we need to take off. This way, as we're putting them through, we're not putting anything in that would make us sick or that would be less than worthy to go ahead and put through here. Because you have to remember, after all, we are going to be canning these for 10 minutes and then 5 minutes set. So we want to make sure that nothing's too mushy that would kind of ruin that process. As I'm going ahead and washing these cucumbers off, I want to make sure to get any of the dirt and grime off of them, as well as the ends. That way, when you're enjoying a jar of bread and butter pickles, you don't have to worry about the ends on them. This process is rather simple and very easy to accomplish by yourself. I'm going to be cutting most of these into spears because we like pickles that way. They're going to be the bread and butter. But then some of them right here, which I put in the sink, are going to go through this right here. So I'm going to turn it on to show you really quick. This lifts up and you keep this up and it is very safe, so you do not have to put your fingers down near this. So let me show you really quick. So you're going to be putting them in here. You're going to be going ahead and doing this, turning it on in the KitchenAid. Oh, it's not working for some reason. Okay, there it goes. So there. So I'm going to have to tighten that up a little bit, it looks like. I had it tightened up, so actually it wasn't as close to here as it should have been. If you'll check in the other video, you'll be able to see. But I went ahead and tightened this up. Then we're going to start it, and it's going to work just like that. So keep your fingers very, very far away. I'm going to go ahead and start the shredding process of these. It's more like a cutting process. Don't have to do it all by hand. Then we'll get started and get going and finish it up. As you can tell in the beginning of the process, it was shredded, and we do not want this shredded, so I went ahead and changed it out into slices. Slices are exactly how we like them. And my attachment only had the thin slicer, so I went ahead and tried to make sure to maximize how thick they were. It went along very fast. That we're done doing all of these, I believe this is about 62 to 42 cups, I'm not sure, but it is one of those. So we're done with cutting these up so that we can add them to the jars, and as you can see, they're not as thick as I'd like them, but they're pretty perfect size for what we're asking for. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean this all out. This is the thing that came out through here. And this is how messy it is. All those peels, all this extra stuff on the edges. But anyways, y'all, let's get to cleaning. As you're cleaning it out of there, you want to make sure to go ahead and clean all of the grime out of there. Now that we are done cleaning up, we're going to go ahead and cut these into spears and start packing these into the jars, as well as making the mixture necessary to put in it. 2 packages of bread and butter pickles from Mrs.Wages, and then I also have what's necessary. So it says to use white vinegar, but in my opinion, I like to use apple cider vinegar. May make your pickles look a little bit different, but this is definitely where I go for my vinegar. So let's go ahead and start mixing that together. Make sure when you let it to come to a complete boil that you let it sit there and roll for a while. As we're going ahead and waiting for that to warm up so that we can add our bread and butter mixture to it, we're going to go ahead and start packing the jars. Now you're going to want to pack these jars as tight as possible, because if you don't, then you're not going to get the most out of your space. If you don't pack them down, you'll notice that when you can, it'll go ahead and leave this little bit of space there that is going to go ahead and have water or then the mixture in it. So you're just going to want to make sure to pack them all the way down in, all the way up to the neck of the jar like I'm about to show you. As I'm going ahead and packing these jars, I want to make sure to optimize on the space as much as possible, because the more space that you have left in the jar, the less water that you'll have to add. It's good to do this also so you make sure to get as much in there and use as much of the jar as possible. It definitely makes it worth it once they are all finished and done. As you can tell, this process goes pretty quickly when canning up all of your bread and butter pickles. In this batch, I went ahead and got 22 jars altogether done, 4 of them being quarts and the rest being pints. Get ready to watch your ears, I'm about to be loud. That is a very strong smell. Do not sniff it in through your nose. You will lose your sense of smell and only smell vinegar. Pointer. Anyways, here it is. It's all mixed. So what we're going to do is go ahead and add it to all of these jars. This process probably only took me about 15 minutes. We are all done with pouring that in there. We're going to go ahead and put some of these on. I have heard so many good things about these. So let's talk about Superb and see if it seal it right. Let's see if it works, y'all. And let's go ahead and put these on. I ended up finding out that the Superb lids work superbly, pun intended. I ended up using the 3-finger method where you only use 3 fingers to tighten the jar. That way that you don't tighten harder than you absolutely have to, because I was tightening them way too tight. Apparently when canning with Superb lids, you want to make sure that you don't leave it too loose, but loose enough that the jar has room to seal properly. And if you end up getting some bulging in your lids for the first time around, just remember to use the 3-finger method next time, where you only use your 3 fingers to tighten them. That will help out very much so.
What's these 2 cups of cucumbers?
For real, I'm hungry. And here I am adding the vinegar mixture for the bread and butter pickles into the jars. I'm making sure to take my spoon and put them deep down in so I can get rid of all of the air bubbles. I don't know why I release the air bubbles exactly, but it's just something that I've always done. And as I add those lids and I make sure to tighten them up, I had to actually go back through and loosen them more. Now that those are all done, all we have to do is can them up and then put them over there with all of my other jars to cool off, and then we'll go ahead and be all finished.
Sheep. Well, another word for sheep is lamb. Yep. And what is that?
There we are. Got them all done. Got 21 jars all together. I think there's 5 pints and the rest are... No, there's 5 quarts and the rest are pints. So anyways, if you guys like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me in on this. I'm just so excited to finally get those done. They have been sitting there for a little while. And another video that's coming right after this one is me doing tomato ketchup. I just got a bushel of Roma tomatoes. Sorry, I was loading there. But I got a bushel of Roma tomatoes so that we can make tomato ketchup, because I'm definitely going to need some. I only have a few jars left. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Stay blessed and have a wonderful day.